Hello and welcome to the Monday Nudge. It's probably going to go out on Tuesday because it has been an absolute barnstormer of a day. But what I wanted to share with you is over the last kind of couple of weeks, really, as we're kind of getting to the back end of Q1, losing track of time now. I'm getting an awful lot of conversations with people that I think should be doing a whole lot better than they are. In different realms, let that be in the business community, in the mentoring and training community, but just really business people that I genuinely thought were a lot further down the tracks in having their model really nice and tight. And this kind of comes back to another few conversations I've had with people that I do one-to-ones with, and that I really wanted to get them to tell me what it is that they do. What was their vision for the future? How did they see their business life within the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 years? And pretty much universally, when I asked that question, it stopped them dead in their tracks, and they really had to think. And I thought that was interesting because if someone was to ask you, if I asked you, for example, who are you as a person? And what's your superpower? And that's a funky way of saying things, but really, what is it that you do brilliantly, and what do people come to you? And if you was in a networking environment, there's 20, 30 people in the room, and you see someone pointing across to you, describing to the other person who you are and what you do, what are you known for? What are you known to be really good at? And what's the type of conversation you want repeated to somebody else about you? I think for a lot of people, that's a really tricky subject. And I've spoken about this on a couple of occasions where I think you really do need to be comfortable with who's in the mirror. Looking back, and I think if you can get into the mirror conversation, which I've spoken about a few times, and say, well, okay, who are you? What are you about? What do you do well? Where are you going? So I'm going to share with you, a little embarrassing, my mirror talk. So who are you? Well, I'm John Ketley, and I turn companies around, I build them up, and I sell them on. That's what I do. What's the bit that you really enjoy doing, John? The bit I really enjoy doing? Talking. Well, I come from an Irish background. Of course, I like talking, but I love talking to someone who's got a real genuine challenge and turning that situation around when they feel that they've got nowhere really to go and they're underestimating themselves. I'm half reasonable at getting that person to open up their eyes, take the blinkers off and see their true talents. What's your version of what I've just shared with you of my version? So that was a metaphor. It's not just me talking about me, by the way. So I think that if you can answer the question to these three questions, tongue-tied, Monday afternoon, don't you know? Who are you? What do you do brilliantly? Why should people come to you? And then here's a fourth and a fifth. Are you really putting out into the big wide world that message in an authentic way where people can just see that's the real you? Or are you putting on this facade that so many people do on social media? Well, stuff that doesn't really work. I think if you're not putting out a true, authentic narrative, people see that and they see through that. So I think if you can put out a narrative that really talks to the type of people that you want to help and the type of people you want to work with, it'll attract people to you. And of course, you have to do that on a fairly consistent basis. Something I don't always do. However, I am blessed in that I'm old and I've been around the block a bit, and the phone does tend to ring. But it rings and pings on the email because I do put stuff out on a reasonably regular basis, and people just drip feed that. And then, generally speaking, I'll get a phone call saying, listen, John, noticed a couple of your bits and pieces that you put out on LinkedIn. I'm having a bit of a challenge. Can you help me out? Perfect, because that is what I do. I help people out on that front. Yes, I invest in businesses. Yes, we run training courses, but essentially that part of the conversation is what then builds into other things. So what is it that you do? What's your narrative? Are you putting out a regular, bona fide, authentic narrative that talks to the people that you want to attract to you? If you're a HR person, talk in a way that's not typically HR about, funny enough, I was talking to a couple of guys, different guys that run different HR companies. And the universal thing with the HR guys is they genuinely care. They want to help the business owner. They want to help their employees. So they're very passionate about their subject. That doesn't always come across in the stuff that they put out onto LinkedIn and the ether. Just supposing they did do that in an authentic way, what could they then really achieve? That's the question. So that's it. I'm rambling a little bit. I'll pull the pin and cut it there. Talk to you soon.